Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, I am with my colleague and friend,
Emma.
and my name, as you know, is Benaya Rollins, and I work as a real estate consultant. Today, we have an interesting topic to debate upon. I am of the view that it is better to build your own house in Ghana. And
Well, I think it's very good to buy a house if you want to own a house.
well, I completely disagree with that. I think you should build your own house. And this is why I think so. Number one, customization. If you build your own house, let's say you want to build a two-bedroom house, you have the choice and the option of designing, choosing what design to use, choose what type of customization, what type of furniture, how you want the interior of the home. Do you want the bedroom to have an ensuite room, or do you want to have one bathroom or one guest toilet out in the living room? Like that customization effect, I think that's one of the reasons why you should build your own house.
Okay, for me, I feel like if you want to own a house and you don't live in Ghana, the best thing to do is to buy a property. Have you heard of so many stories where people have been duped? They send money to their relatives here to build their homes for them.
I do hear, of course, I've heard about the stories, but this is the fact. In as much as you hear those stories, it doesn't mean that it's not possible. That's why we have us, real estate consultants. There are lots of real estate consultants, builders that you can rely upon. I think as an extra service, developers are now having that option for people where they build for them. They have their own designs, their own architectural drawings. There are developers who do that. So if you have such option and professional help to build, I mean, why don't you go ahead and build?
You know what, Ben? Buying a house in Ghana saves you so much stress and time. There are so many properties on the market now with different prices, different locations to suit exactly your needs. So I am of the view that buying your home is the best instead of building. For we ladies, we don't have time now going to talk to the foreman, talk to the plumber, all that. I'd rather buy. There's no way I'm building a home.
I mean, I don't disagree with that particular aspect. But I do think for people who can afford both time and stress, I mentioned earlier about customization. That customization is not only on the home. You can customize your time. You can choose when to attend to matters such as this. You can choose to, if you want to go to the site, you can choose which day to go to the site. You can choose so many things.
I'm still going to the site, and that's what I'm trying to avoid.
But that it's your home. It's your house.
Yes.
This is a place you're going to love. I just saw a woman who flew in from America to Nigeria to build her home. She wanted to have that Western style kitchen. And that's what building your home allows you to have. If you are a first-time home buyer, of course, I would advise you to buy a home. But if you've passed that stage, you can afford it, but time and money, man, build.
That's my point. That's if you can afford that, both the time and the money, which most of us cannot.
Cannot what?
Cannot
What,
afford.
the time or
we
the money?
cannot afford the time.
The time,
The time.
really.
And moreover, if you are going to customize your own house, you want everything as you want it, you know it's going to be much more expensive. So me, I'm of the view that if you have a budget, you should rather look for a house on the market that just suits your needs, unless you have extra cash that you are willing to give away.
Have you seen situations when people buy homes and they discover that those homes are like rubbish? I mean, this home is like solid. Take, for example, where we are right now. This home was built like 5, 6, 7 years ago. What if someone comes in and you're just sleeping one night? Next thing you know, ground vibrates, the walls crack, shake, the roof just falls off.
That's why we, as real estate consultants, will make you find the best home. You need to seek proper and professional advice before buying a home. You
Okay.
don't just walk onto the market and choose a home. Most of these developers have other products, other houses on the market you can view, you can talk to people. You should know whom you're buying a house from, obviously. But for me, the major point is buying a house is stress free. Do you own a land in Ghana? Okay, you know what? Let me go straight to the point. I have a friend who has lost a piece of, in fact, he's lost three lands in Ghana in different locations just from litigation. This man has chased his lands for almost 5 years. And you know what? Some of the lands he even had to pay double to the owners, but he still lost the land. If it were you, would you ever think of buying a land to build a house?
Yes, I will. And I think it still comes down to working with consultants. See, we have to treat, we don't treat real estate as where you go buy rice in the market or going to shop for chocolate for your kids. This is dollars, hard currency. This is blood, sweat, and tears. Right? It's money. So if you're going to, you should consider it as so important. In fact, some people term it to be your second biggest decision after marriage, right? I mean, after marriage, you're considering kids. Next thing you talk about is how. So it should worth your while. It's not something you have to hurry into, and that's what I advise all my clients. If you're going to buy land, make sure you do proper diligence. Don't rush the process. Take your time in making decision. Technically, it takes about almost a month to an average of a month to a month and a half to make a decision about buying the land. That time period is enough time to figure out if this land is solid or not. I get the fact that yes, there are litigations, but when you do what you have to do, buy land from the right people using our sources, right, our referrals, buying the lands that we're trying to sell to you, I think it takes off that hassle going back and forth or having to deal with land guards.
So you buy a land and you need to wait for 3 to 4 years before you can even title that land?
No, not really, and that's not what I'm saying. My point is that you go through the right channels, like working with people like ours, which there are obviously lands you're trying to sell. Are you trying to tell me that those lands you're trying to sell are litigated lands?
Most of the lands I saw are already titled. They have documents on it.
Perfect. So why wouldn't you, as the person who wants to build, go for titled litigated free lands?
I can still buy a litigated free land, and land guards will come to me to pay digging fee.
I mean,
which part of the constitution talks about digging fee?
Look, it's a custom. Now, if you want to,
it's a custom tradition.
Yes, it's something that has to be done. Like, look, in Nigeria, we had a land, right? We were trying to construct a pig farm. Now the boys came in, we have to pay digging fee, and all of those things. I mean, look, this land is from the earth. It has got to do with the society. It has got to do with everyone who lives around it, whether we like it or not. So if you have to pay a digging fee, why don't you come to a concession with those guys and pay them something? You don't have to, if they ask you to pay $1,000, you don't necessarily have to pay them $1,000. It may be just give them $200 or $300 or $400, and then you'll have your peace of mind. And guess what? Next time they may even vouch for you, defend your land, say, "Oh, this land." I've forgotten what they say.
No, I still don't agree. For me, it's too much work.
For your house,
it's too much. Yes, for my house, it's still too much work.
What I'm trying to say is just the same way you wait for the right time, for the right man, the same thing you do with real estate, with building.
For now, there are so many mortgage offers on the market. You could go to a bank and get a mortgage. Most of the mortgages they give out now is for buying a house. Hardly do you go to the bank and they give you a mortgage for building. Most of the mortgages they offer now is to buy a house.
But they give you mortgages for construction. They're construction loans. First National Bank does that. Stanbic Bank does that as well. Absa Bank does construction loans.
Right. So if I can get a mortgage to buy a fully completed house, why would I take a mortgage to build a house?
I think on that part as well, taking mortgages and all of that. So generally, this is just a summary of what I'm trying to say. Buying a home is good. I'm not disputing that fact. But I do think that as a human being, as a person, just like a kid would want to have his own toy, right? Not the family toy. Just like a son would like to have his own car, not his father's car. It's the same way every individual wants to own something that is theirs. You can say, oh, I own this home.
So if I buy a house, I don't own it.
You do own it, but it's the gravity of ownership that we're talking about here.
I think it's very relative to each
Yes,
person.
absolutely, you're
For
right.
some people, to
Mhm.
build a house is some kind of fulfillment. To
Yeah.
others,
Yeah,
they can buy a
but it's the
mansion.
greatest fulfillment, though.
I mean, and that's how you feel. That's not how I feel.
Mm.
I feel like if I'm able to purchase this $1 million mansion in East Legon, I've made it. Either I built it or I bought it. I still made it.
I can also say I just customized my kitchen with $1 million.
I can
That's
buy a
just-
house and still customize the kitchen, change it to my way.
So you bought a home for $1 million.
No,
That's what I'm trying to say.
I'm trying to say that if I'm able to buy a house for $1 million, I will still have some kind of fulfillment.
Mm.
It's not just about me building my own home that will give me.
Okay, so I think we're trying to summarize now. In conclusion, I am of the view that it's important you spend time, build your own house, own your home. It's important to build.
Not me. I'm buying my house, definitely.
Well, we'll leave it to you. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a matter of relativity. Some people will choose to buy to save themselves from the hassle
In
of
the bustle.
dealing with land guards, litigation, just like we talked about. But for some people who have the time, stress, and who can go through all that stress, who can relax, and you want to own something that is yours, use it, build it, customize it, build your home, build your own house. Don't
Guys,
be like
Don't say I didn't tell you.
build
It's
your
way
home.
better to buy a house in this Africa, Ghana.
I think it's better to build. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Until our next video, see you next time.